Hello everyone, and today I'll be talking how you could help Jacob Hornberger in this 2020 presidential election. The first way you could help him is by donating. My Wi-Fi just went out. Alright, it's back in again. Sometimes my Wi-Fi goes in and out. But anyways, the first way you could help him is by donating directly to his campaign, online or by mail. Now, if you don't want to spend any money, which I understand, you could also go to his subreddit, which isn't one directly by him, but it's one by people who are helping him with his 2020 campaign, and you can see they help to share his previous videos that he's made, and they also shared his first ad on here, which I reposted it, which I downloaded it from Vimeo and posted it to my YouTube account, and I credited Jacob Hornberger for it, and now it has about 200 views. So that ad is reaching out to a lot of people, and I suggest if you see that ad on my channel, you could I suggest that you might want to share it on your social media pages so it can reach even more people. Now, I also wanted to say that this race is closer than it might seem, because even though Jacob Hornberger has 22.03% of the popular vote, and his closest rival competitor has about 10. William Supreme has 10.32% of the vote. It's closer than it seems, because right here, these differ. The Libertarian Party, basically, these differ than the Republican or Democrat presidential primaries and caucuses, in that they do not appoint delegates to represent a candidate at the party's convention to select the presidential nominee. So, I guess a good way to explain this is that whether Republican, Democrat, and even Green presidential primaries, they pick up delegates along the way in each state that they're in, and while the voting process is going on, they pick up delegates. But the Libertarian Party, primaries, I guess they have their own delegates, but basically the delegates, I guess you could say the delegates aren't even they don't use the delegates until the convention, and the delegates decide at the convention. So it's hard to tell if someone is going to definitely win or not. Now, in 2016, I guess you could say it was easy to tell, because Gary Johnson had about 54.7% of the vote, while his closest competitor, John McCaffrey, had 8.2% of the vote. Now, I'm not exactly sure if we'll see something similar like this, where Jacob Hornberger will have so much of the vote that the delegates definitely go to him, or will it be even or will it be even closer than the 2016 race? I'm not sure how this will go down, but I but if you want to support Jacob Hornberger, then he still needs your help. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about multiple things in this video. Another thing I wanted to talk about is that if people really dislike the two major party candidates like they say they do, then we could potentially see a Wasp Paywat type of situation. If you don't know who Wasp Paywat is, he was an independent that won in the 1992 presidential election, and in the end, he got 18.9% of the vote, which is pretty impressive for a third party candidate. Now, at the, at the beginning of this presidential election in 1992, the surprising thing was, even though in the end Wasp Paywat got 18.9% of the vote, he was actually at the start he was actually polling above Bill Clinton and George Bush, which was really impressive. Now, will we see that again? I'm not. It's the chances are not too high for that, but it's still the chances. The possibility is still there. The possibility isn't exactly like 100%, but you could still see it happening. Now, and where was I gonna go? Oh, right. That's another thing. Another thing I wanted to talk about is some people might say there's a lot of third party candidates, so why vote for Jacob Hornberger specifically? Well, here's how he differs from the other third party candidates, other than the other libertarian candidates already in this party. See, what was it? I already went over this, but if you haven't seen my first video where I talked about Jacob Hornberger, basically, I'm not going to read all this again, but he would abolish the federal income tax on the IRS, which in turn would let more people save their money. And in a crisis like this with the coronavirus, or let's say it was some natural disaster, people could have more money saved to go back on, and in turn, they might not even be in need for a stimulus check, which also brings up another point. He He'd also get the government out of the economy, which would how do I say this? Which the government then wouldn't have to bail out big companies, and the big companies would have to figure out themselves how they'd get out of it, and the big companies wouldn't be pushing so hard on the American people to get them out of the mess that most of the time they have created. Now, another thing he differs on is about the drug war. Now, this might be controversial to some people, and some people might not agree with this, but he says he would legalize all drugs. Now, the best way to explain why he would do this is he said that, and this is true, that during the 1930s era, when prohibition happened and alcohol was banned, all that did was drive more people to alcohol, and alcohol rate crime shot up with the mob and other gangsters basically illegally selling alcohol and making a huge profit off of the illegal business. But Jake Hornberger says that when it was legalized again, in the free market, there was no profit to be found because all the businesses were profiting off alcohol, and the mobs and gangsters, they couldn't profit off of it anymore because there was now legal way to get it without being concerned that you were going to be arrested or that you could potentially be killed. Now, I think personally that this this could apply to drugs too, because you always see with marijuana that police bust people just for having marijuana, and sometimes they don't even have marijuana, but something that looks similar to it. So Jacob Hornberger says that, I mean, it's not even that Jacob Hornberger is saying it; it's kind of the truth that if drugs were legalized, then less people, they wouldn't be drug dealers. Less people would be dying from drugs, and if people really are concerned about people overdosing on drug use, then there's already a private group called Alcoholics Anonymous, and those that group helps alcoholics. So why can't they be drug groups that, if the drugs are legalized, that helps people who is addicted to drugs? Because with no drug dealers on the street, there would be less crime to worry about, and he'd also said that along the list of people he pardoned, which if you don't know, I think it's the U.S. has, what was it, 25% of the world's prison population, or I don't know what percentage it was, but it's still a high percentage to have prison inmates in the country compared to the rest of the world. And he said he'd put what was the word? He pardoned all non-violent drug offenders, which I think that's a good idea, but I think that people need, before they pardon them, my personal opinion is that they need to check if they've done anything else, like violent crime or stolen from somebody before they pardon them. But I guess moving on, how am I gonna end this video? Right. I don't know how to end this video. Well, I'll just say this: if you really don't like the major two-party candidates, as I've said before, then, and if you're interested in voting for another party, which I've seen all over the internet, people are dissatisfied with the main two parties and they're interested in joining the Libertarian Party. And I think that I think if you're really interested in joining another party other than the main two parties, I would say that please support Jacob Hornberger in his election. If it would still be good, even if he only gets 5% of the vote in the end, because at that point the Libertarian Party can start receiving funding from the government, which would help boost their status. And if he receives enough polling, if he's polling at 15%, I've said this earlier in the video, but that's enough to get him into the debates. And even though the Electoral College probably would prevent a third party candidate from winning, if Jacob Hornberger wins at least one or two states, I'm pretty sure that might grab people's attention. And I think I've said this before in the video, but that might, if there's a tie between three parties, that just might deadlock the Congress or Senate or whichever one. I don't even know if I'm saying this correctly, but I guess my ending statement is, if you want change and you want to break the two-party hold on politics, then definitely vote for Jacob Hornberger in 2020. That's all I have to say in this video.